welcome back to Storytime. Hope you will enjoy our story today. It's called Before It's Too Late, and it's taken from the scripture on Matthew 24:40. It will be the same when the Son of Man comes. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken, and the other left. Hope you enjoy our story. The 2 boys looked at the captain with astonishment. "You're leaving the island?" they said in one voice, which they often did because they were twins, and they were always thinking the same thing. "You can't leave the island," Argo proclaimed. "Without you here, we would be so alone." Arian completed Argo's sentence as he often did. "Arian is right," Argo affirmed. The captain looked at the boys with kind eyes. "Just remember what I've taught you, and remember, I'll be back." The boys couldn't imagine life on Terrene without the captain. Argo and Arian were barely 2 years old the night their ship was wrecked and their parents were lost in the storm. The captain and the boys drifted to this tiny island, made it their home, and named it Terrene. That was 14 years ago, and now the captain was leaving, and they felt afraid. "There's so much more to life than Terrene, and when I return, we'll leave together for Bluestone." More to life than Terrene? As far as Argo and Arian knew, everything in the world was just like Terrene, small and gray. Not a happy gray like the hue of a shadowed snow, not a strong gray like the shade of thunder clouds, but a dirty, dismal gray, like the worn skin of an elephant or the cold ashes of a dead fire. But if gray is all you've seen, gray is all you expect. You've got to see with your heart, not your eyes, the captain would challenge. The captain had spent many evenings sitting with the boys, explaining the grayness and meaning of color. According to the captain, long ago a volcano had erupted, burying forever the colors of the isle in the mountain of soot. As a result, Terrene was a gray island in the middle of a big gray ocean. Waves with gray tips slapped against beaches with gray sand. Trees with gray trunks sheltered winged gray birds. Gray animals with gray eyes would peer from behind the gray bushes. Only the boys and the captain were not gray. A thick forest grew in the center of the island, and in the center of the forest there rose a mountain. The captain told the boys to stay away from both. He told them, "The volcano erupted once, it will erupt again. And stay out of the forest," he would say, "for the forest will take your color." And they believed the captain because the captain had seen 1,000 islands. "There are islands," the captain told them, "so vast you cannot walk around them even in 2 days." This amazed Argo and Arian, for they could run all the way around Terrene in 1 day. "And there are islands where the sky is so clear and the water so sweet that the birds sing and the creatures leave the forest and come to the sand." Amazing! Birds didn't sing on Terrene, and the creatures never left the forest. But there is one island that is most special. "Bluestone," the boys would state in unison. They knew the name well, for it was the captain's home. "Ah, Bluestone," the captain would smile. "There the birds sing, the blue waters tumble over the shiny brown rocks, and the grass is evergreen, and the sun sets on the horizon like an orange ball." Argo and Arian would squeeze their eyes right tight and try to picture the colors and hear the sounds, but they never heard birds sing, and they'd only seen gray. The captain knew it was hard, so he would help them. "Look at each other," he would venture. "See your blue eyes? That is the color of water at Bluestone. And see your blonde hair? On my island there are birds and sunsets with such splendor. And your teeth, see how white? They are the color of Bluestone sand. It's like nothing you've ever seen here in Terrene." Then the captain would grow very solemn. "Argo, Arian, you were not made for Terrene. You were not made to live in the gray." Then his voice would grow soft with sorrow. terrene like bluestone was once alive, alive with sights and sounds long ago, before the volcano. But his voice would be sad only for a moment. Bluestone is not gray. His eyes would dance as he spoke, and Bluestone is your true home. I am going away for just a short time, he said. I'm going to go to Bluestone to prepare your place, but I will come back and take you there with me. But what do we do while you're gone? They asked. Remind each other that this is not your home, and help each other to be ready to leave when I return. Though the boys believed the captain, their hearts were sad as he climbed in his fishing boat and set sail for Bluestone. I will return, he shouted to them. Be ready. So began the days when Argo and Arion were alone together on the island. At first, they were just like all the other days, and they did exactly the same things. They would rise early in the morning, look at each other's faces, and think of Bluestone. Your eyes are like the waters we will see one day, they said, and your hair is yellow like the birds we will hear, the other would answer. We were not made for terrene, they would affirm. We were made for another place. Then they would spend their day together, dreaming of the captain and remembering his words. When the evening came, they would go to the eastern beach from which he had sailed and recount his farewell. I will return and take you with me, one would quote. Be ready to leave when I return, the other would remind, and then they would be ready for the rest of the night. They spent many days searching the horizon for their captain. Looking for his return was their greatest joy at first. But after many days, Argo and Arion began to grow tired. It's hard for me to remember his voice, Argo confessed. Arion added, the colors are getting blurry. One afternoon, Arion had gone to sleep on the gray sand while Argo took his turn at the watch. When Arion awoke, Argo had left the beach. He didn't return until the evening sun was setting, and Arion was already on the eastern coast. Where did you go? Arion asked. I grew tired of the ocean, and I went into the forest. But the captain said to stay out of the forest. We need to stay together, Argo, to watch. Argo didn't respond. And that evening, when the two boys retold the words of the captain, Argo seemed uninterested. When Arion woke the next morning, Argo was gone again. Arion tried to see the colors and hear the music without the help of his brother, but it was hard. He felt alone, speaking into the sky with no one to listen, but he spoke anyway. Several days passed before Arion saw his brother again, and when he did, Arion was shocked. He looked into Argo's eyes, longing to see the blue which would remind him of Bluestone, but the color was gone. Faded and pale was the hair, which had been bright blonde like the sun of the captain's country. Argo, you've changed. No, I haven't, Argo argued. What's happened? Well, I've made some new friends in the forest, the animals. They aren't evil. They've shown me things I've never seen before. We swim in the river, and we run in the meadow, and crawl in the cave beneath the great mountain. Argo, have you forgotten the captain's words? He said to stay away from the mountain. It could explode. Argo laughed, a deep husky laugh like the sounds which came from the forest late at night. The creatures have told me the truth, Arion. The volcano never exploded, and it never will. That's just fantasy. Come, I'll show you. Arion looked at his brother for a long time. He looked at the eyes that used to sparkle and touched the hair that used to gleam. You've changed, Argo. You're like the island. Well, a little change doesn't hurt. Besides, what am I doing there is fun. Come with me. No, Argo, we must wait here. Maybe if you stay here, your color will return. Argo laughed that dark laugh again. Stay here and look for something that will never happen and miss the fun of the forest? You're a fool, Arion. If the captain was returning, he'd be back by now. Come on, let me introduce you to my friends. No, Argo, stay with me and let me help you be ready for the captain's return. The two brothers stood and looked at each other, Arion with sorrow and Argo with disbelief. You really think he's coming, don't you? After all this time? If you'd seen what I'd seen in the forest, you wouldn't stay here on the beach. Arion spoke firmly. I've seen enough. The forest has taken your beauty. Stay with me and change before it's too late. But Argo just smiled and walked toward the trees and became part of the grayness. Only a few days later, a speck of gold appeared on the morning horizon, the color of Argo's hair, what it used to be, only 1,000 times greater. It sparkled and beamed like a fire in the night. The light cut through the gray with splendor. It was a grand schooner with billowed sails of purest white. The captain had returned. Arion could see him on the bow of the ship. I'm back! I'm ready, Arion shouted as loudly as he could. The captain waved. When Arion boarded the ship, he raced into the captain's arms. The weariness of the watch was forgotten. What Arion had been able to see only with his heart, he now saw with his eyes. He thought of his brother and looked up at the captain. Argo chose to ring. Sadness came over the captain's face, and he walked to the rail and looked at the gray forest. Shall we go get him? Asked Arion. No, my child, he's made his choice. And with that, the ship set sail for Bluestone. Only when they reached the horizon did they feel the vibration of the volcano. I'll let you finish the rest of that story and know that it's a mirror, a parable of Christ's return to us. And our question today is, do we remember his words? Are we ready? Or have we slipped into the grayness of a place not made for us? Thank you for listening for our story today. We'll see you next week.